Welcome back to another message crawler update. Today I want to spend a little bit more time talking about jobs, how they get ran, how they get split up into individual components, and how multiple threads can take advantage of all those components. I spent probably months working on it, and I'm incredibly excited seeing this work. So that's why I want to take a little bit more time and show you how jobs actually work in version 7 of message crawler. Let's go to my screen and take a look at it. All right, so what I did here is I created a job and I imported some data. So what I did is I used a directory list profile, and it basically just made a directory list here in the grid. That's kind of ugly. So let's see if we can switch to some kind of auto view edocs maybe. There we go. So now we have our sort of edoc information, the file modified, created, all that stuff, and we have our sizes, names, and dates. So let's create some kind of a job where we can update all these 20,000 documents. So let's go to job and play around with some data. I'm going to create a new job, and we're going to make this into a mass update job. So this is going to be transfer mass update, and we're going to say update application. And I'm going to select my search, which is the dir list, and we're going to say what field do we want to update, which is application name, and we're not going to do related, and we're going to say what value, demo app, doesn't matter. The important part here is batch size. So there's going to be some defaults that are set as far as batch sizes, but in this case, let's just set it to like 2,000. And what that means is we're going to take our 21,000 record collection, break it down into 2,000 document chunks, and then each of those chunks can be worked on independently. So if we have 4 threads, each thread can take individual chunk and work on it, and more threads you have, more work can happen at the same time. So of course that depends on your computer and your database server. You know, if you set it to like 50 threads, you're going to break something, right? Things are going to crash, your IT is going to call you and say, what are you doing? Things like that. But let's just do that. Let's make it into 2000, go to jobs, hit run. I'm going to set it to 4 threads, and I'll see if I can navigate quickly to the job to see, so we could see what's going on. So first we got initialization running, and I think we missed it. Yep, it was too quick. So what happened was the job tasks were created, and you see there are 2,000 records in each. And so now we have our a workstation running through, and I don't know why it's running 3. Oh no, it's jumping back and forth. And now we see that all the tasks had finished. I don't know why it says 0 documents per second, but we'll figure that out later. And if I go here and refresh, what's happening with my server? Oh, there we go. And you see that the application name has been updated. So this is kind of what you would expect a mass operation to do, right? The real difference here is we taken the entire data set. We didn't have to load it to the grid like what we would have to do in version 6. We divided it into chunks, and then we had multiple threads work on each piece individually. So let's do one more thing so that I could show you a little bit more on how it works. I'm going to close this job, and I will do is reset job and delete tasks. So now this looks like a completely new job. So I'm going to say demo app 2, so we know the difference. I'm going to close it, and what I'll do now is I'm going to manually run job initializer. So there is this initializer here in the job, and I know things need icons and stuff. This is beta version. So if I click this button, we are just running job initializer. And so now we have these tasks created, but you see nothing is running. We just created tasks. We kind of organized what the job is going to be. And if I go into one of these tasks, not much you can see here. It just says ready to start, and there is a JSON that describes what the documents are and things like that. So what we can do from here, if you ever need this, let's say you run a job and a particular task crashes or causes a problem or does something weird, what you can do here is you can click on run task. Now, should we run the first? I think we can run this one. So I can hit run task, and now we manually running a piece of that job. Now, do you normally need to do that? No, absolutely not. But let's say you have a task that is crashing or it's stuck or there is something wrong with it. That's how you can have control, is by going to individual task, seeing what the errors are, potentially resetting it, rerunning it, and that's one way you could retry a certain piece of data. The thing you'll note that this runs on the front end, right? It's on the UI thread. So there is no agents or anything like that. It's just running like that. So it locks up basically your application, kind of what version 6 would do. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to run this on a very large task. But as soon as this is done, and for some reason this is taking a little longer than we did it on the thread, we should see the change in the grid. All right, and now it says, as soon as I stop talking, so now it says finished. All right, so now if we go to documents and if we refresh, and my server is not happy for some reason. Okay, here we go. So we see that we updated to demo app 2, but we only did it for part of this database, right? We didn't do it for all of them because only some tasks have completed and others have not. The next thing you can do is you can also manually run Finalizer. So Finalizer will actually have no effect in this particular situation because there is no step that is done at the end. But if you are exporting RSMF files, for example, Finalizer is what generates a cross-reference file for you. So once all the threads are done, Finalizer will run automatically. But if you are running tasks manually, you can run the job Finalizer manually to get basically the job finished. The other thing to note, if you have a job in state like this where some tasks finish, some not, you can still go back here, go to jobs, and you can run it, and you could say whatever number of tasks, and it'll just pick up where it left off. Now the other thing you'll notice in the jobs tab is we do have some stats about what's going on with the job. So if we have a different number of tasks, you see that we have total tasks 11, complete 1, remaining 10, and we have some kind of progress indicator, which is nice to have. The one thing you want to be cautious with the percent complete is if the job can generate other tasks. So for example, if we have a zip file which will extract other files, well, that will create additional tasks. So watching this progress bar isn't super useful if you don't know how many tasks are going to be created, which in some cases you will, in some cases you will not. So depending on the job. But point of it is number of tasks may change and tasks will grow. And this is kind of consistent with other e-discovery software where you see progress bar kind of jumping around because you can hit a container file, you can find a PST file, you can find, anything. And once you look inside, you see, oh man, I got all this work to do. Okay, let's generate all these tasks. And then the user is looking at it, it's like, oh, things are going nicely. And then bam, progress bar moves back. That's basically why. And there isn't a whole lot you can do about it unless you pre-scan everything ahead of time, expand it, but then you're wasting time doing that. So it seems more efficient for it to be just part of a job, and it takes what it takes, and you probably have some idea what it takes based on the gigabyte size and your previous experience. So that is going to be my update into jobs, the way the data gets broken into pieces and the way you can manually run it if you need to. I am extremely excited about this. I spent I don't know how much time on this, and I hope this will make MessageCrawler 7 scalable, not just across multiple threads within a computer, but across multiple computers as well. Thank you for checking out this update. I will see you on another one.